still trying to be safe during COVID. I want to say God bless everyone who here this morning, and I really appreciate you taking the time out to come to hear what we have to say. We want to make sure that you are set free and delivered from the bondage that has you in financial debt, that has you in bad credit standings. As Pastor said, we want to be in the 800 club, but we also want to be mindful of how we use our money and let our money work for us. So this class is not going to be very high level. It's going to be very introduction, so you'll understand the basics. And we're planning to do a monthly meeting. So every month we're going to meet and we'll progress from there. So it's going to be a progression. It's not just going to be this one class, you learn it and you go about your way and we never see you again and you still stuck. So what we want to do is stay with you so that we can improve upon each month to month. And then once you start doing some of the techniques that we have, you might have questions. So we want you to come to us with those questions, and so that we can help you to grow and grow and grow. We're planning to have other people to come in, financial planners, some people in insurance, people in stock markets. So it's not just this one-time deal for us, okay? This is going to be an ongoing series for us. The better you are, the better the world is, okay? So let me introduce yourself. I guess I should have done that first, right? I'm Iris Blackshire. I've been asked 100,000 times, are you a financial planner? No, I'm not a financial planner. I am a life lesson learner, okay? I'm giving you some of my background. I have 2 master's degrees. One is in accounting and one is an MBA for management. I've been doing banking probably, I'm 52, 30 years. I came out of high school, went to college at Johnson C. Smith University, became a teller, and from there, I was not going to be a teller for long. I think I stayed 6 months. I couldn't stand it. But that was my foundation, and then I grew in the banking industry. So now I am a product manager, and I manage Harlan Clark, the check writing vendor. So I manage that whole process of you getting your checks, what the checks look like, finances, making sure that Harlan charges you the correct amount, trying to budget within so that we can make a profit as a bank and that you're not being overcharged. I've been helping people with budgeting probably for over 15 years, and I also help with lead over the church finance. So long story short, no, I'm not a financial planner. Do I know it all? No. Did I get all my stuff out of a book? No. I got it from the hard knocks of learning, okay? I've been there. I've had a bankruptcy. I've owned 2 houses since the bankruptcy, and making bad decisions, trusting people. Oh, I know a quick way we can make you some money. If they're that quick, you're not going to get no money, okay? Let's just be real. Money takes time. There are some people that are lucky. They can invest in something and money just grows. But the average person, and you have to take that mind step, I'm the average person. This is the easiest way and the safest way for me to make money, okay? I have a partner in crime. We're the duo. Miss Shan. Shan, you want to introduce yourself?
Good afternoon, everyone. Are y'all up? Y'all awake? Y'all tired? All right. So I am Shan Kelton. I'm also known as the Credit Shiro. My husband and I, we have a business by the name of Tailored Upscale, where our focus is credit. We help people with credit coaching when it comes to personal and also business. My background is also in financial industry. I did work for a mutual fund giant by the name of Fidelity Investments for about a decade, and I came out of corporate America, and this is what I do now. So I have been assisting people for about 15 years. Just as Iris said, we didn't get our knowledge from a book. A lot of it has been life experiences. We are transparent and not afraid to say that we know what it's like to not have been a good financial steward, and we know what it's like to have life happen. If you've ever spoken to me over the phone or in person, I will let you know a little bit about that while we're having your credit analysis or your credit coaching. So this is a safe place. There's no judgment. There's no need to be embarrassed or anything. We're here to get it together so we can be better. So I'm going to turn it over back to Iris, and we're going to start.
Also, I have my other sidekick, Miss Cheryl. Cheryl, do you want to just introduce yourself?
Okay. My name is Cheryl Murphy. I'm a paralegal. I've been in the paralegal field for over 20 years. And as they say, very transparent. I myself taught myself how to budget. I lived off my savings for 3 years. And it was a struggle, but I knew what I had to do. If I can do it, you all can do it. And I had 2 kids, daycare and all. So it's a process, and you all will get through it.
Okay, great. Okay, so on the white, everybody should have a white sheet. And this is something that I just keep, and sometimes I have to read it myself. I'm sorry. Ma'am? She'll bring it to you? Okay. Okay, so sometimes I have to reread this to myself because I forget sometimes. You know, in the life hustle and bustle, bills coming in, you don't know, like, I don't want to pay that bill. I'd rather buy those shoes, or I'd rather do something else with my money instead of maybe making the light payment. So I have to read, and biblically, fasting is part of budgeting. I kind of think of them as hand in hand. You got to let something go into order to gain. So it's, as Pastor said, it's about discipline. If you're not disciplined to make those life changes, if you're not ready, don't fake it, because you're just going to get yourself in a deeper hole. If you are ready to make those changes, then you're going to have, just as we did the covenant, that first day, even though I don't eat meat, not having my seasoning, I'm from the South. If you don't have garlic, salt, pepper, and onion powder, you ain't cooking. You know what I'm saying? You ain't cooking, and I don't want to eat that. So for me, I didn't have the taste that I was looking for. So then I said, well, if I sneak a little taste, and then I was like, Iris, that's just like your budget. If you sneak $1 or $2 out of not paying your light bill $100, and you sneak $50 from it to buy a pair of shoes or buy something that you really, your flesh wants, but not what you need, then it's a perpetual cycle. Now you're short on your light bill. You got those shoes, but next month you're going to get a late fee, and you're short, and they want the next month. So now you're in double up on your bill, and now you can't pay it. So then you say, I don't pay it. Or you use other people like the church or friends, can I borrow? Can I borrow? You always want a helping hand to get you out of your situations, when actuality, you should be the helping hand. You should have the mindset, I'm going to do this because I want to be a blessing to somebody else. If you don't have any money to give, then how are you going to help someone else? So if you hold tight to everything that's in your hand, you never can receive, right? So what I tell my clients all the time, don't be junk poor. You got all that junk in your house. You don't even look at it. I got a girl, she been in her apartment for probably about 4 years, still have boxes, and boxes of clothes and shoes. boxes. I said, well, what's in it? She said, outfits I remember I used to wear. What? That's waste of money. Sell that stuff. That's income that you could get in. Don't be junk poor, okay? And they get ready to bury you. You have no money to bury, but you got a bunch of junk. What is your family going to do? You understand what I'm saying? So, biblically, fasting and budgeting ties hand in hand together, okay? Organize your bills. When you get your bills, when they come into the household, they come into the mail along with the junk mail, don't just throw them on the counter. Open them up. Immediately open them up. Look at them. Because what if you've been overcharged? What if you've been charged for something that you didn't do? For 2 months, I have been fighting with Spectrum because they said they came out to my house and installed some kind of camera. You ain't been to my house, sir. You know, first of all, only thing I can get from Spectrum is internet. So I can't, you wasn't out to my house. Yes, we were. No, you were not. So I've been arguing, but what if I had let that bill, that payment stay on my bill? I would have been trying to pay for something I didn't do. So that's money that you could always like capture so that you can have it for your bills. So pay attention to your bills as they come in, okay? Open them up immediately. I have a bin. I keep all my bills in. So as they come in, I open up, I look at them. They seem reasonable. I throw them in my bin, okay? The month in, around this time, I then take my budget book and I start budgeting my money for the next month. So you always want to be a month ahead. You never want to budget within the month that you're in, because what that does is set you up for perpetual failure. You always want to budget a month ahead. So you'll know what's coming up. You know what you got to pay. You know how much money you're going to approximately get. And so that way you can stay on top of your bills and your finances. When you budget check to check, you're not planning for the or the, oh my God, I didn't know that was going to happen. You're not planning ahead. So then you're not, when that or that bill comes in that you're not prepared for, what that does is makes you then try to find money that you don't have. Then you don't pay a bill just to pay that bill. Robbing Peter to pay Paul, you know, you're jumping from one to one to one, okay? So you want to make sure you have some type of organization to your bill keeping. Now, when I get my bills on a monthly budget, I normally fill out a sheet. And so basically what I do is I write down every bill that I have to pay, even those that don't have statements. So I have to pay gas. I got to get gas to put in my car. I have to buy food. You know, I have to buy, let's say, if I'm going to the doctor, I have to pay a doctor's bill. I have to buy whatever you have to buy, you write them all down. And I start basically from the one that I have to pay first. Okay, so most of the time it's our rent, our mortgage. So I start there. Okay, then I start with all my household bills. Okay, then I get my car insurance, gas, car repair, those type of items in that cluster. Then I start with those things like my self-care days. Once a month I go get a facial. I get my nails done. I get a pedicure. Those are my likes. Some days, some months, I can't do it because it's not in my budget. I don't have the money for it. When my HOA comes in once a quarter and I have to come out my pocket $200 That month, I'm not getting no nails done. So you might see me with one nail, two nails. You might, right. You might see my toes and they might be all crusty looking. Okay, whatever, boo, but I got to pay my bills. My bills come before my self-wants, okay? You might see me repeat some clothes. Hey, it's in my closet. I paid good money for my clothes. I may as well wear them, right? I don't have to have a new outfit for every event, for every Sunday. That's a waste of your money. When you go to the gas pump, pay for your gas at the pump. Don't go inside. That's a trap. When you go inside and you have to stand in that line to pay for your gas, you got to pass for all those snacks, right? You got to pass for sodas. You passing cookies, donuts. As my husband said, they calling my name, babe. They calling my name. That's a trap because they're charging you $2, $3 for those snacks when you could have bought a whole supply at Costco or Sam's and kept it in your car, and you save money. Leave home prepared. Exactly. When you're in the grocery store, and I know some people are going to get mad with me, don't go in the grocery store. Do it all online. Do curbside pickup. You know why? They put out on the end caps. Them end caps are the devil. The end caps are, hey, look at us. We knew. Don't you want to try? You know this is good for you. No, that's not good for you. Leave those end caps alone. I don't even really go in the grocery store. If I go in the grocery store, me and my husband, we fighting. It takes about 2 hours to get through a little list. And that's another thing. When you go in the grocery store, make a list. Only buy what's on your list. If you buy outside the list, you're outside your budget. So you have to always think of how to save money. How to maneuver your money, okay? So when you do curbside and you pick it up, you're not going in, you're not getting the latest and greatest, you're not doing all the extra, and you're staying within your budget, okay? So whatever you allow for food for that pay period, that's what you spend. That's the only thing you spend. You don't go outside. And then food should also be eating out. Now, eating out, you shouldn't even want to eat out if you spent $200 in groceries. What you eating out for? You got $200 in groceries. Why buy groceries? And I had one client say, I go buy my groceries and then we go out to eat. What? Like, you're wasting your money. Like, why are you going out to eat right after you purchase your groceries? Plan your meals ahead, meal prepping. We have caterers here that do meal prepping. TT and Zach, they have a business, and they'll do meal prepping for you. They'll give you ideas. They'll consult with you. There's ways to get around it. When I was in college, if I wanted a certain outfit, Roman noodles was the bomb. I ate them every day. So I could save my money to buy that outfit. And that's the way you're going to have to start thinking. And the way to get me out of financial debt, I'm going to have to do the smart things with my money. I have to make my money work for me and not me working for the money. You understand? So if you want to take a day off, it doesn't matter because you got enough money to take care of your bills. You want to take a trip. You got enough money set aside, saved, that you don't have to worry when you come home, you got eviction notice on your door. So you're going to have to start thinking smart of how you spend and use your money. Now, when I get my bills in that month, I use a bill organizer. I don't use this particular one because I'm organizing like 3 different type of households. So I use something bigger than this. But to start off, I suggest you use a bill organizer. So each month, it lets you put the bills in the slot. And you can keep up with your bills, okay? I can't get this one open, but I don't want to mess it up. Yeah. Something. Right. Oh, okay. So then you can slide your bills inside that slot. Okay. After I pay the bills, now I'm old-fashioned. I know we got some tech people in here that be like, ooh, paper. Oh, I don't want it. But I'm going to tell you, paper is your friend. Because when you write it, it's written in memory. When you type it, it's on that keyboard. You don't remember nothing you type. Because sometimes I type a memo and I be like, what did I say? Wait a minute, let me go back. But if I have to write it, it's stuck in my memory. So when I get my bill, if I paid it on the 15th, I write on my bill, paid $200 on the 15th, slide it in my slot. So when I see something like a late charge on my account, whoa, I'm immediately calling. Why are you charging me a late charge? I'm not late. I paid my bills on time. And I go down the month. They be like, yes, Miss Blackshire. Yes, Miss Blackshire. There was an error. There was, calm down. Because I'd be like, you can't tell me. But if I didn't write this stuff down, if I didn't keep this stuff in my memory, if I didn't keep it organized, then how can I prove to the bill collector that's not my bill or that's my charge?
That's right.
You got to have proof because it's them against you. They want all your money. And I tell my husband, in the wintertime, put on some clothes, bruh. We can't give DuPal all our check. We're not giving them all our money. We're just not doing that. My husband said, I'm tight, whatever, okay. Well, let's sweat, because, but, I can't, it hurts my feelings when I work, not even 9 to 5, but I probably work from 8 to 7, 7:30, sometimes 9 o'clock at night, every day, grinding, sweating, crying, getting upset, moving, shaking, writing up reports, and then I get my check. Oh my God, that's my reward for working so hard. And then somebody take all my money. Then the day after payday, I don't have but $20-something. That don't sit right in my spirit. I'm sorry. We finna fight. Because something is wrong. Something is wrong with my finances. So then that's when I have to go back and reevaluate. Credit cards. Now, Shane's probably going to talk about credit cards. But I say to you, you should only need one credit card. That's just me. Okay? Now, I need to probably hit myself, because I have more than one. But I'm trying to pay down my credit card so I can only operate in one credit card, right? And the reason why I say that is you're paying finance charges. Unless you can maneuver those payments where you don't have to pay finance charges, then you can have multiple credit cards. But most of the time, by the statement close date, you should have a zero balance. So then when they tell you how much you owe, you don't owe anything, and they can't charge you any interest. Don't pay that extra. Don't pay stuff to people to make them rich. You work to make yourself rich. You want to be wealthy. You don't want them to be wealthy off of your money, okay? Now, what is income? Anybody can tell me what is income? Your earnings, okay. If I sell Kool-Aid on the corner store, at the corner store, is that my income? Okay. If I buy stock and I get profits from the stock, is that income? Okay. If I work under the table and, I go help you with this catering job, under the table pay, is that my income? Okay. Once you gain all your income and you take all your debt and pay your bills, the leftover, your profit, what do you do with that? Do you go out and spend some extra money on something, some commercial? I know during the COVID, my husband saw all the food commercials, all the chicken sandwiches, and he wanted every last chicken sandwich. You see what I'm saying? Do you spend that money on those things, those frivolous things? No. You save it. You save it. You pay yourself out of your, don't deprive yourself. You pay yourself. You pay yourself when you get paid based off of your budget. You go ahead and pay yourself, right? And you don't come out of that pay. So if you got an extra $10, that's not going into your pay. That goes into the savings. If you got an extra $100, that don't go into your pay. That goes into the savings. You only stay within that money budget. If it's outside that money budget, I can't do it. So my money budget, because I have 2 dogs, I don't put them in my household budget. I put them in my budget. I have 2 dogs, so my money budget every week is $100. So I got to buy dog food, take them to the groomers, take them to the vet, buy toys, whatever, shampoo, kennels, that type of stuff. So, and then that takes my nails, my hair, the me stuff, okay? That $100 handles me. If the dog gets sick, I have to go to the vet, and the bill is $100. I don't have any me money. I don't have any more money. So I can't go into my bills money to pay for something I want. So you're going to have to stay in your budget, okay? You got to have discipline. You got to be like a soldier in England. Have you seen those soldiers in England? You can walk by them, you can dance in front of them, and they stand straight. That's discipline. They're not moving because they know the outcome, if they move, they're going to be out of the wheel of what their assignment was. So your job assignment is to save every penny you can get. Now, people laugh at me, but I don't care. If you say, oh, I got some change, give it here. I collect change. I have change jars all over my house. When we come in, we drop our change. By the end of the year, you'll be surprised how much money you have just in change. That change could be a Christmas gift that you need to buy, or food that you need to put on your plate, or a savings for a down payment on a house. Okay? So even the small change, don't discount it. It's valuable. It's worth something. That penny may seem like nothing to you, but it's still 1 cent. And if I gain 10 pennies, I got 10 cents. You understand what I'm saying? So you don't discount even your change. Everything you do it as if you're broke. I don't care if it's a bonus that came in, you broke. That bonus hits your account, that goes to savings. Okay? Now, if you're in the hole, then you probably need to talk to me and we can see how to get you out of the hole so that you're not living check to check. Okay? Being in the hole means I have overspent the prior pay period. So I'm living in the negative. So when my check comes in, it eats up my check. So I'm only having a smaller portion to work with. There's some ways we can work your money to try to get you out of that hole, okay? Now, expenses. What are expenses? Expenses are your bills, anything that you have that you must pay, you have to pay. I would even tell you the very underwear and clothes that you wear are your expenses. You got to buy them, right? That's a cost to you. Anything that's a cost to you, that's an expense. So that's what you're going to be writing down in your budget. Everything you buy, you write down in your budget. So when I was a teller, I thought it was dumb that the check company give you those registers, those check registers. I was like, this is so dumb. You got the check, you see what you're writing. Why do you need it? But then when you start looking at it, it starts telling the story of how you spend your money, right? So then you start saying, wow, maybe I didn't need to go to IHOP 3 times this week. Maybe I could have cooked my own pancakes and waffles that I bought, the $200. See, you see what I'm saying? So you write down everything, every expense that you spend, you write it down. Just as you write down every source of income, you write that down. You're going to keep a track record of everything that you do. Don't take anything for granted. Anything that comes out of your income or out of your money that depletes your pocket, you write it down. Now, there's going to be times you're going to cry. I'm telling you, there's been many days I cried. Many days I didn't know what was going to happen. Many days where I was afraid. But I kept pushing to the concept that I'm going to get out of this. Don't give up in the midst. When the devil comes, I'm going to tell you how the devil works. When he sees that you're going for the good, or you're going to get out, or you're going to get a blessing, he comes hard on you, right? So I'm going to be very transparent. The last budgeting class we did, I'm standing up telling you how to budget your money, what's important. And that same day, I get a notice from my bank, an NSF notice. Now, I'm saying, how can I stand up there and tell anybody about budgeting, and I got a darn NSF? That means I didn't write something down. I didn't do something right. And I said, you know what? I am never going to talk about budgeting ever again because I had an NSF. I cried. I had an anxiety attack. And my friends will tell you, they call me dramatic because it was a whole theater with the curtains. You could just picture me laying on the floor. Oh, Lord. Oh, God, I got NSF. What am I going to do? If I'd have gave up at that point and just stopped budgeting, stopped watching my spending, it would have just trickled on and trickled on. I would have been in collections and everything. I would have paid out more money. My check, I would have been working for the collection companies. You understand? But what I did after I had my meltdown, I got up and I looked and I called the company. I have never bounced a check before. Can you please help me out? They paid the check and waived the fee. I did all of that. Falling out, crying. You know, I'm never going to teach budgeting again. Mistakes are going to happen. Things are going to happen. You're going to forget bills, or I'm going to tell you the biggest thing that you're going to probably forget. Sign up free today, and you only have to pay in 90 days. And you're enjoying the freeness, and then here comes the 90-day, and you get the bill. And you forget. Those things happen. Those things happen. So I don't sign up no free night. I don't care. I don't want it. I let them talk. I'll be like, that's nice, ma'am, but I don't want it. I don't want it because that's a trap. You know, unless you know for sure, like you can put it in your phone, call Spectrum and cut off Showtime, cut off. You know, if you don't do that, those circumstances can just knock you off your game, okay? Unless you have a surplus in your account and you don't know that you've been paying it. Like my mom, she just pays bills. She don't look. She don't pay attention. The bill come in, oh, I got to write this check. I got to pay this bill. And I said, Ma, you don't have cable through AT&T? Why are you paying a cable bill? I don't know, babe. I just pay the bill when they come in. So then we had to backdate her over 3 years. She had been paying. So I had to refund her. But it took like probably about 6 months before they could get it all organized. But just think of that money she could have had sitting in her savings, sitting in an investment account that could grow interest, that she could possibly need it to make a living. You understand? She's retired. She's old. She's living off of her pension, her retirement. That money, even though it was only $20 a month, if you calculate 3 years of $20 a month, that's a lot of money for someone who lives on a fixed income. You understand? So things happen in life that will knock you down, but you got to get back up. You can't let you stay there. You can't let it bury you. You can't just say, forget it. I'm not doing this. You got to get back up and get on the bike and pedal harder, okay? It might take you talking to people to get things waived, to get credits, but you got to do it. My husband says, I'm not calling them people and asking them for no money. Oh, give me the phone. I'll do it. I'll call in a minute. Look, ma'am, look, I ain't never had this situation, and it's a one-time thing, and is there any way you can refund me those fees? So don't just let things happen and you just pack them down, keep moving. You're going to have to just work through them and learn from them, okay? So another thing to find money is when you're buying from the little girl next door. Oh, I'm selling this robot for school. Would you buy from me? No, I ain't using that robot. I ain't going to use that. What am I going to do with that? Don't buy stuff just because people are asking you have a soft heart. Don't buy stuff like that. I know that's not good because the kids got to sell the stuff, but why buy that? You're not going to use it. If they have a catalog, go through the catalog and find something that you can actually use. Christmas paper, you can use that. Wrapping gifts. You see what I'm saying? Don't buy the ninja robot that you'll never, ever use. That's a waste of your money. Stop buying stuff that's a waste of your money. Put that money back in your pocket into your savings. Okay? Money is valuable. Not just because the government put a price on it, put a denomination on it. Money is valuable because it gets you where you need to go in life. Okay? All right. So the first thing is gather all your financial information. And before I meet with any client, I tell them, gather all your bills, your bill dates, your pay, and your pay dates, and a calendar and a pen, and let's sit down. We can talk. If you don't have that, it's no need of us talking. It's a waste of your time. Okay? You got to be prepared first, right? Then you're going to add up all your income. Determine on the calendar when you get paid. Write it down. Everything, write it down. I write down everything. I got sticky notes all over my house. In my office, you can't even see my computer screen. Sticky notes. Call such and such. Pay this bill. Contact the church for this. Do this. I put everything on sticky notes. Make a note of everything. Add up all your income. Put it on a calendar. Okay? Live by your calendar. Your calendar should be your Bible. And I meant to bring my budgeting book. But next class, I'll bring you my budgeting book so you can see. Everything is in there. I have rulers, stickers. I make it cute. I make it something enjoyable for me, okay? So I make stickers like you paid off a credit card and it says, hooray, in like a big bowl. I stick it out and it's my reward. My reward is not because I paid off the credit card and I go spend something and charge it to the credit card. That's not a reward. My reward is that sticker, okay? Because I have a bigger goal, okay? I want to buy rental houses, okay? I want to open up a spa. So I got bigger goals that once I get there, I can say, hooray. You understand? So for right now, that sticker is my reward. So you're going to have to find things to substitute your spending habits or try to minimize your spending habits so that you can go for your greater reward. Okay? Now, I do have smaller savings, right? Me and my husband want to go to the beach. That's not really big. That's not something, but that's not something I can just, hey, I'm a big wheeler, I can just go to the beach. I still got a plan. I still got a budget for it, okay? So write down all your income, all your expenses, even those side pocket items that you want to kind of save for, the immediate savings, and then your long-term goal savings, okay? Then once you do that, subtract all your expenses from the income, determine how much money you're going to have, how much you're going to pay yourself, how much you're going to, pay the church. Let's be for real. If you sow nothing, you get nothing, okay? Tithes and offering. That's an expense. It's not an expense in my heart, but it's an expense on my paper. I write that down. Everything, you write it down. That money comes out of my income. Okay? And if you're not tithing and giving the offering, you need to pray about it. God died on the cross just for you, that you might have life and have life more abundantly. But what are you giving back to say thanks? Just to come and sit in the building? You're not giving anything. Sometimes people say, well, I don't have money to give, but you got something to give. $1, a penny. You got to budget it. What makes sense in your budget? Right? So you got to give to the church. Wherever your heart, wherever you're being fed, that's where you give. Now, Reverend, prophet, evangelist, show enough show on TV, not feeding your soul, right? Because when you don't have money, you have to come and ask for some money. You're not going to prophet to show off. He's not giving you the money. You're going to a place where you haven't even sown into, right? But what we said, we're going to get so that we're not going to be the one that's needing a helping hand, but we're going to be the ones that give a helping hand, right? Amen. Okay, so then, like I said, you always want to budget a month ahead of time, because a month ahead of time keeps you on track. Okay, you want to be on track. You want to stay on track so that when incidentals happen, you can see it coming. Oh, the doctor called and said, Iris, you're going to have a procedure done. I'm going to have to pay something out of my pocket, right? That's next month. I got to start planning. So when I do my budget, I don't know how much it's going to be, but I'm going to give it an estimate, right? So I'm already estimating $500, right? But I don't know how much it's going to be, but at least I'm not going to be at $0. And so when that bill comes in for $2,000, I'm falling in the floor again. Oh, Lord Jesus, help me. I don't know what I'm going to do. Oh, God, oh, my money's gone, my money, They're going to come and get me. They're going to take my baby shoes. They're going to take my car because I don't have no money. But you're already planning. So when that bill comes in, and it might be $200, I got $500. Let me pay this bill. Pay it immediately, right? Bill comes in for $1,000, call them immediately and say, I need to make payment arrangements. Look at your budget before you call them and say, okay, this is how much I can give you. I'm going to tell you, they'd be happy for anything, because like medical bills, people don't pay them. They don't pay them. Just point blank. You go to the hospital, I ain't paying that. So you tell them I can only give you $20 a month, then that's what you can give them. If they refuse, then technically, I think by law, you don't have to pay because they refuse the money. But I'm telling you, they ain't going to refuse no money, period, So make sure you handle all your debt, okay? All your bills a month ahead of time. Now, assets. A lot of people say, well, I don't have no assets. Well, we're going to work to get assets, okay? Assets can bring you money. You own a home. You build equity. That's an asset because that's extra. That's above the norm. That's above what I call the ceiling. The equity that you have in your home. That's an asset, okay? Sometimes people say, well, cars are not an asset. Well, it depends on the type of car. It's a liability, but if you buy, let's say, a classic car, okay? If you're into that kind of dealing. Like I used to work for a car company, and they would sell nothing but classic old cars. They'll sell them for real cheap. People will use the right pieces to put the car, restore the car, and it became an asset because now it's worth more money than what you paid. Okay? Collectibles. They could be a liability if you buy too high. Like, I collect Barbie dolls for my grandchildren. I buy them real low, keep them in the box, don't open them. I don't, they on the trophy shelf. And hopefully, by the time they get grown, those Barbie dolls will be worth some money. So you have to, and then you have to kind of investigate. You can't just go out and say, oh, I'm going to buy this pen. I'm going to hold this pen. And in 10 years, this pen's going to be worth something when it's being manufactured in a box. No. You want those one-of-a-kind things. Those are called collectibles. Those can be assets. Now, your liabilities are what you owe. Okay? Those are your expenses. Okay? And like Shannon says, cars, everyday cars are liabilities. Those are not your assets. Yeah, I'm going to go out and buy that new Maybach. I'm going to go right across the street and to the Mercedes dealership and buy that Mercedes. That's a bad car. That's a liability. And I have to ask myself, why buy the Mercedes when I can get the same thing maybe in a Honda? Because my pride says I look better in the Mercedes. So I don't have to kill my flesh on that too, right? So I'm dealing with that. And because I have to get a new car by next year. I want a Mercedes. Now, I can see myself driving. In fact, I want that Land Rover or even the Jag. Now, that Jag truck, oh, my God. Ooh, that's a nice truck. But do I need that truck? That truck is almost $80,000. Yeah, but I can budget because I can pay $600 a month. I'm going to budget that in. But am I using my money wisely? And I keep, that's why I'm fighting. I'm toiling with myself because I really want that truck. But I could buy maybe a $300 payment car and still get to church, still get around. It still drives. I might not look like, I belong on Instagram or something like that. I look like I'm just on Facebook. But that's all right. That's all right. I got $300 in a car payment that I'm saving. And I'm toiling with myself, So I'm beating my flesh every day because I really want that Jag. Now, if somebody want to sow that Jag in my life, I receive it in the name of Jesus. But I have to be realistic in what I'm buying. Okay? Now, when my income increase and I can afford that car, let's say my husband hits it rich, we become millionaires, then okay. Now you're in line with your budget. My budget says now I'm a millionaire, I can buy that expensive car. Okay. But I might still drive that Honda because I still value my money. There's different levels of spending. And you need to stay in, like they say, in your lane. Stop trying to be like the Joneses. Cut that flesh, Iris. Because I want that Jag. Did I tell y'all that? I want that Jag. I want it in black. With chrome all in the grill and all it. Yeah. Or either blacked out. See, you know, I've been all on the website, putting the car together, packaging it. So my girlfriend said, no, get the Tesla. I said, like, nah, cuz I like that Jag. That Jag doing something to me. You know? Now, I could go get a used Jag, but then I got, which is probably better, right? I'm using common sense and not buying a new car because it depreciates quickly, right?
That's it.
But then I'm still paying the high payments because they kind of hold their value, right? So I'm not gonna buy no 80,000 Jag for what, 20,000? That ain't gonna, no. When I go to look for that Jag, it's still probably gonna be in the 60s, right? That's not using good wisdom and spending your money, right? So stay in your lane. So I probably wind up with a Honda or something I can afford. Something that's not going to make me jump poor. Okay, I got all this stuff, but I'm still poor. I'm trying to live like the girl next door. I don't know what she got going on, right? Her meat don't make me fat. I don't know. I'm old and country, okay? Her meat don't make me fat. She like it. I love it. But for me and my house, we're going to have to stay in our lane. We're going to have to stay. So if that means I got to save more money, I got to do more things, I got to do more investigations, more research, to try to find the perfect car for us so that we're in our lane, we're in our budget, then that's what I'm going to have to do. Maintenance. Taking care of the car. After I get the car, what I'm going to do? Oil change.
Tires, all that stuff.
For my truck that I'm driving now, and I wish I had known these things then, I spend $100 on an oil change. $100. I remember my Honda going to Walmart and spending $30 on an oil change. Get on the road and drive just as good. $100
Something to think about.
for an oil change. The man said you need front brakes, back brakes, and front rotors. $1,000. I got the car, but I can't maintain the car. So that car probably wasn't in my lane, right? Stay in your lane. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Make yours look good. Put some Armor All on the tires. Wash it. Make it look good. Make it smell good. So when Mercedes pass by you, they go, wow, that's a nice car. I know, and I ain't paying what you paying. Okay? Think about what you're buying. Toyota and Lexus, same company. Same company. Same car. Research before you buy anything. Stay in your lane. Stay on your budget. Kill your flesh. Learn discipline. And you will get through it. I promise you. You're going to fall out. You're going to cry. You're going to have those moments, theatrical moments with the curtains fall down and you laying out. Because I do it. And I do it every day. My girlfriend said, girl, that ain't but $25. $25? Do you know what I could do with $25? I can invest $25. Who knew that you could invest in Cash App? They got stocks in Cash App. Invest in Cash App. Read books to educate you. Put down them novels. Jane slept with Jody's husband, and now the cat died under the front porch, and they can't find the dog because he ran off with the cow. Stop reading them books. They're not getting you nowhere. They're not edifying your soul. They're not getting you to the point where you become a millionaire without some, corporation pushing you there. Stop reading those books. Read those books, how to make money, how to keep money, how to invest your money. On Facebook, stop joining, and I have to stop too, how to decorate your house. Get into those stock classes, those stock groups. There's one called Stilettos, Stock and Stilettos for women. And they tell you different techniques of actually investing in stock. That's how I started. I just started in one of those groups and started listening and reading. YouTube teach you everything. I swear. You could probably have a baby, get married, build a house, build a car, die, and come back to life again, all on YouTube. YouTube will teach you. YouTube will teach you about investments. There's plenty of people, and then they'll say, Introduction to investing. They'll teach you what's the difference between a stock, a bond, a mutual fund. They'll teach you those things. We're going to teach you also, but start before we get there. So when you get in those classes, in those sessions, it's not all foreign to you. And I'm sorry, white people teach their kids at like 5 years old, because they're the ones that are on the corner selling the bad tasting lemonade. But they're teaching them how to gain their money, right? They wear the same clothes over and over. The same clothes. They're not out shopping like that. When you go into, how many Goodwill shoppers I got? Okay? When you go into Goodwill, up there at the lake what? Who you see in there? White people. Right. They know the value of their money. They're keeping their money. Right? And when they get stuff to Goodwill, you be like, oh my God, that's new. What the world? And we think we got a treasure. That's their old stuff. That's because they learn from an early age. So if you have children, start them now with savings accounts. Start them now in learning how to make money. Make money important to them, okay? And just be diligent in your actual budgeting. Now, I do offer budgeting sessions. The first 30 minutes is always free. We do a consultation. We talk, we cry, we wipe tears, we sling snot, and then we get down to business. And then for every hour, it's $57. That's all. $57. My first session is normally about 2 hours and a half. That's because I'm trying to get to know you, trying to know your patterns, trying to know what you do, where you are losing your money. And then I give you a consultation. Stop doing that. Stop doing this. Let's try this now. Let's do this a different way. Let's make this work for you. Okay? And then I don't leave you. People say I harass them. Did I see you in the store the other day? Was that in your budget? What you buying? What's that? I got one girl, I'm on her all the time. She's always, Miss Ayers, they got the new shoes. Is that in the budget? Do they look like the ones you had last year? Why are you buying stuff you don't really need? Right? So we do that. We build a bond, we build a connection. But I'm going to tell you now, don't come with me with no junk. You got to be real with yourself. Right? I get people every day. Oh, God, I need the budget. I'm crying. I need God. God, help me with my budget. And I said, okay, get these things together for me. And you know what they tell me? Okay. The next day I said, you got them together? No. My granddaddy died and the cat ran over the mouse and I'll get back with you. Excuses. You got to do the work. Now, I'm going to help you, but it's you on the bicycle pedaling, right? I'm going to hold the back for you to guide you, but you pedaling. You got to do the pedaling. It got to be something that you're totally ready to do. Like the covenant. You had to be totally ready to give up meat, food. Budgeting is the same thing. It's going to hurt. You're going to cry. You're going to have oops moments. But you're going to get up and you're going to move. You're going to do it. You're going to do it. Then you're going to find ways to get it done. So if addiction to shoes is your thing, you'll find ways to make sure that you have some extra shoes, even though it shouldn't be in your budget. But you'll learn how to maneuver your money. Then those shoes are not going to be important. You know why? Your money is going to be more valuable to you. You see, you got a savings account, got $500. Woo, woo! You start feeling proud. Your chest get big. You know, hey, I got $500. Hey, I'm rich. I'm rich. I'm rich. Your girlfriend say, look at these shoes. They $200. Girl, that's my $500. Nope. I'm rich. I'm rich. You start doing the dance like, you know. So you start learning, and all of a sudden those addictions go away. Right. But you got to beat that flesh first. You got to tell that cake, nope, don't need you. I lost the weight. I ain't going back. Right? That heavy cream on that coffee, no, I might have to drink that coffee black because that might put an extra 15 pounds back on my hips, you know. So you learn through the discipline of cutting your flesh, those things that got you in the hole before are not temptations. Now, there's some things that's going to always be temptation, you know, always to you. But then you have to learn how to buy them in moderation, okay? So jewelry, that's one of my temptations. I can probably not do anything else, but I got to have a piece of jewelry. But I might not get my nails done because I really want that brooch more. So you'll start learning what's really valuable. Nails, not valuable at all. She don't even want them.
Right now, I go back and forth.
Right. So it becomes a part. It doesn't bother her. One day it might not bother me that I don't have a brooch. You know what I'm saying? So again, it comes with discipline and beating that flesh. Shannon? Now we're going to go into our credit.
Okay. That's all you have?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, does anyone need a quick break? Bathroom, water break? All right, we'll take about 5 to 7 minutes of a quick break, and then we'll resume, okay? All right.
or just like if you see me, say, hey, I need that handout, and then I can email it to you, okay? I don't have any more physical copies. Okay. Okay. If you didn't get the handouts and you want the handouts, inbox me, and I can send the handouts through Facebook, email, text message. I'll make sure you get the handouts. Consultations, we will sit down, again, free 30-minute consultation, okay? I don't charge you for that. Sometimes the 30 minutes can get a little bit longer depending on your situation, but then after that, $57 an hour. Regardless, we only spend 30 minutes, 10 minutes, 2 minutes, it's $57, okay? Because that was my time. I could have been with somebody else, okay? If you cancel at the time, like right 30 minutes before our session, you still pay the $57. I think that's only fair, okay?
That's right.
Right. Yes, ma'am. No. Most of my clients, we meet over the phone. We meet over the phone. I do Zoom if you need Zoom. We can FaceTime. Last night I FaceTime with a girl. FaceTime to me is not really needed. I mean, it might be needed for some people to feel that from me, but if you don't want to FaceTime, we don't have to FaceTime. We can just talk, right? Because at the end of the day, it's your budget, not mine. It's you getting out of debt. You have to be honest with yourself and then to me, you know? So that's what that comes from, okay? And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to shoot straight from the hip. I shoot straight from the hip. I'm sorry I hurt your feelings, you know? But hurting your feelings might save your life. Right? Isn't that what pastors say? Yeah.
Last four, 3396.
Yay! You're welcome. Thank you. Get it, TT. Get it, TT. Okay. 3381. Yes. You're welcome. Thank you. Okay. 3374. Were we going in your time?
That's okay.
You good?
That's okay.
Okay. Yes. I've been waiting. I've been wanting you to get one. If I don't see you on Sundays, I always like, where is he? I'll be looking for you on Sundays. So good. We family. 3402. That's a different number. 3402. That had to be a late person. Yeah. Hi, my love. Good. Thank you. How many people shop at Aldi's? Love it. I go to Aldi's before I go to Food Line or Harris Teeter. That's how I do my grocery shopping. I do cheap shopping before I go to the expensive places. Because an apple that's $1 is, same apple that's $2. It does. And I'm going to be honest with you. When it comes to food, I don't care. As long as it tastes good, it could be Tuscan water. And I get it if it tastes like Olive Garden salad dressing. That's fine with me, So,
That's right.
Yes, exactly. Don't sleep on them. Don't sleep on them. Yes. 3368. Yay. Thank you. Yeah. How many people go to Costco's and shop? Sam's, Costco, BJ's. If you have a large family, that's the way to go. You want to buy in bulk. Yeah. It's cheaper. No, that I can't do that. Tissue, yeah. Yeah, maybe for household supplies, but for food, I don't eat that much to be going to Costco's or BJ's. If I'm by myself, I'm in all this. That lady know my name. She'd be like, you back in here? I need some more bananas. They dole. They organic. 3378. Yes, Mr. Frederick. Three, 3386. 3386. Okay, maybe they get in the bathroom. Oh, she in the back. Okay. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. That's my other family back there. Yeah. I might not know y'all by name, but I know y'all by faces, okay? By the eyes, because I used to know you by the whole face. But these masks, but I learned people by now, the eyes and up. Yo, yeah, I know. 3383. 3383. Okay. That seems like the lucky people, right? Yes, babe. I'll tell you. Okay. 3389. Seems like I called that. They're all in the 8s now. What's going on? Yay! That's my other family. I tell you, I know people by their face. Yes. Yeah, I'm just shuffling them because all of them was in the 8s. Some people need some 7s in their lives. 3372. Yeah, see? See? Yeah. Okay, we got 3 more, and then at the end, we have like 5 other gifts, okay? 3385. These 8s killing me, man. What is the word? New beginnings. I guess that's what the deal is, right? We're for the new beginnings of budgeting, getting our money and our finances in order. Okay. 3395. Oh, she forgot her ticket. You gave her one. Okay. 33. Hey, all right. Okay, and then 2 more. Three, 397. Hey. Well, we're going to give them both one because one is for their business and one for their personal. Right. Yeah. I think that's only fair, Oh, praise God. Well, let them sow a seed. Wow. Blessed. The Lord is good. 3405. This is a latecomer too. Okay, praise God. Is that the last one? Okay. We got some more. We got some good gifts too. Okay. You pick whoever. You want me to pull a number? Yeah. Okay, pull a number. Okay. This is sowing a seed. You see? See how that works? Good gracious. 3384. All the 8s. Yes. Okay, she want to show hers too. Right. Okay, what about 3401?
If we can do those, I think.
Praise God. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Praise him. All right. Miss Shan?
Okay, so let's talk about credit. The introduction to credit. Who's excited to hear about the basics of credit? All right. All right, so we're just going to talk about the basics. And the reason why we're doing this, we don't want to assume that everyone knows the level set of things that we know. So we're going to start out with the very basics to get an understanding of how credit works, what is credit, how it works, the makeup of it. In the future workshops, we'll dive more into the in-depths of your credit reports and all of that good stuff, and also some things that you can do yourself. Okay? So the introduction to credit, does anyone know how would you define in your own words? Let me ask, how would you define in your own words what is credit? Say that again. Credit will take you where money will not. Yes, credit will take you where money will not. That's good. That's really good. I like that. That's really good. That's it. Credit is our way to borrow money and agree to pay it back under terms, and usually there is interest tacked onto that loan agreement. So that's basically what it is, and we want to have a renewed mindset. We want to change the way of things that we've done things in the past as far as just getting lines of credit just because we want to be able to use other people's money. Who is other people? The banks, in order to be able to catapult you higher, take you to the next level. So that's what the purpose of credit is. And for the longest, that is what has separated us as far as the communities when it comes to minorities from other classes in a lot of our communities. They know how to use other people's money in order to obtain assets, real estate, financial wealth, all of that good stuff. So where I want to begin is with the two important aspects of credit. And the slides are going to be right behind me. So your credit reports, they are detailed summaries of your personal identifying information and credit history. So an example of that would be your name, date of birth. I don't have social security number up here, but that's also up there, usually the last four, your address, and how you've paid your bills over a course of time. And these slides are also online, so if you all want to take screenshots, go back and play the replay, you can do that. If you would like a printout of the slide, I can provide that as well. Your credit scores are a numerical value based on algorithm that analyzes your credit utilization, so what you borrow and repayment patterns. So what I do want to point out is credit reports do not include credit scores. And a lot of people don't know that. So whenever you get a credit report from the major 3 national credit bureaus, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, it will not include a score. That is provided with credit monitoring services. So credit monitoring services are going to be different from credit actual reports. So we're going to play a quick video, and then we're going to talk about a little bit more concerning credit reports, a little bit about credit scores, and then we're just going to go from there, okay?
Shopping for a car? Applying for a job? Looking for a home? Or just getting your financial house in order? Then it's time to check your credit report. Good news, it's free. The law entitles you to 1 free copy of your credit report from each of the 3 nationwide credit reporting companies every 12 months. Why is it important to check your credit report? It has important information about your financial accounts, how you pay your bills, and if you file for bankruptcy. You want to make sure everything is accurate, especially before you buy a house or a car or apply for a job. If you notice something wrong, contact the credit reporting company and business providing the information to correct the error. And checking your report can help you guard against identity theft. Visit ftc.gov/ID theft if you spot accounts that aren't yours. How do you order your free credit report? Order online from annualcreditreport.com, the only authorized website for free credit reports, or call 1-877-322-8228. You'll need to provide your name, address, social security number, and date of birth to verify your identity. Keep in mind, you're entitled to one free copy of your credit report every 12 months from each of the 3 nationwide credit reporting companies. So the next time someone asks, "How's your credit?" you'll have the answer. To order your free credit report, visit annualcreditreport.com or call 1-877-322-8228.
All right. How many of you knew that you could get your free credit report for informational purposes? So that is good to know. How many of you are aware that since the pandemic, COVID-19, that you are able to order or request that report, not annually, weekly? Okay, so you can get that every week from all 3 credit bureaus. There is only one website that you would go to visit that, but we'll get to that. Let's see, I thought I had that link there. Okay, no, we don't. So I'm gonna give you all the website that you would go to. It's annualcreditreport.com. And that is the only national site that we have in the United States of America that is legally authorized to do so. Okay, so credit reports, they affect our buying power in so many ways when it comes to a job, renting or becoming a home buyer, utilities, service connections, and even purchasing insurance, car insurance. It can come into play with that. Everyone should review their credit reports often to protect themselves from any signs of identity thefts. I would say for this year, I believe the percentage for Americans with errors on their credit report is around 34%. So it used to be a lot worse, not as bad now because we're waking up. You know, we're all about our credit. Credit is very important, so more people are in tune to what's going on now. So it's good to see that the percentage has decreased tremendously over the past couple of years. So we all should be looking at our credit scores and our credit reports all the time. I wake up from my sleep in the middle of the night just like I pray. That's just my truth. Looking to see what's going on. Credit Karma is not my own personal source only that I review my credit reports, and most definitely not my credit scores, but it's a good resource to use in order to be able to see what's going on. So my question, and I want you all to answer honestly, how often are you all looking at your credit reports? Do we have anyone in here? Don't be ashamed to say that you haven't. A lot of people don't. It's been years since they've looked at it. Okay, so it's been a while, or you look at it all the time? Okay, anyone hasn't seen their credit report in a while? When I say a while, more than 30 days. Okay. Okay, so we have to do better with that, especially since COVID-19. We have to make sure that we're looking and reviewing things. Just to piggyback off of what Iris shared about errors being made with billing, payment history being reported. So make sure that you're looking at those credit reports. Try to get in the habit of every week, even if you have to set a calendar reminder to do so. It won't take that long. Just set aside about 15 minutes to do so. So we've already talked about credit reports not including your credit score. So we're going to go to the next slide, and this is an example of what your credit report would appear to look like. Different credit bureaus, they have their own styles. They're not buddies. They are competitors. So depending upon which credit bureau you get it from, it's going to look different. We will be diving more into this, but I wanted to give you all an example because everyone doesn't look at their credit reports often, and if they do, I hear daily throughout the day, a lot of people don't understand how to read it. They don't know what's going on. So we have to break down the sections of it. So usually the top portion of your credit report, even if you're using online credit monitoring services, or with Credit Karma, it would be at the bottom if you click on credit report. But it's going to have your personal information section or personal identification. And this section is so very important. Now, I don't want y'all to go to sleep on me, but I need you to hear me. Hear me what I'm saying. This is the most important section. Everything is based upon algorithm with the credit bureaus. Everything is calculated by the characters, the number of characters that you have. So the more information, it's going to affect your score because every character plays a part. That's why a lot of times you all call me, y'all mad, or you just talk it to yourself, you're mad because you have lost a couple of points here and there. Why? Because remarks have been added, whether an account is in investigation status, whether it has been settled. So anytime they go in and they change notes in the remarks section or any section of your credit report, it's going to have an impact on your credit score.
Wow, I did not know that.
So what we teach with our business, Tail It Up Skill, is this section. We highlight here, we cannot do anything, whether if you're going to rehabilitate your credit, if you're not in a state where you need to fix your credit, this is something you always need to be attentive to. It's just like a vehicle. You have to take your vehicle in for maintenance, for oil changes, tire rotations and stuff. This matters. Every time you complete a credit application, whether it be for a credit card, a home loan, personal loan, whatever the case may be, you have to think about, a lot of times when we go into banks, there's a person, a broker, or whoever you're sitting down with that's inputting information. They may misspell your name. They miskey your date of birth, your social security number, and that's a lot of times how errors happen. You may say that your name is Sarah, but your name may not be spelt with an H at the end or whatever the case may be. So people are human beings and mistakes happen. So our goal and what we teach is to make sure that this section is together. So you always want to make sure that your name is listed as it should be, your date of birth, your address. Old addresses are not important, and especially if you are someone that needs to reconstruct your credit, that's going to play a major part in the rehabilitation. Why? Because every address you've ever had has an address identification number associated with it. So the way they link those accounts to you are based upon the addresses that have that address identification number. So that's a lot how we're successful, glory be to God, of getting a lot of accounts removed from off of credit reports with little to no explanation. A lot of people in the industry, not to knock anyone, but they don't have the knowledge, they don't have the experience to know that. So anytime you're speaking with someone, whether if it's outside of us, the credit rehabilitation and coaching that we offer, if they're not starting by talking about this personal identification, personal information section, that's a red flag. You can see anywhere from a couple of points ranging up to 77 to 125 points of an increase just by starting working on this section alone. Making sure information is correct. So a lot of times when credit scores are stagnated, this is why, your credit report. Another section in employment and all of that go in there. Another section would be for public records, and sometimes they can also be labeled under derogatory marks or underneath collections. Does everyone know what a public record would be consisting of? What is a public record? Bankruptcy is one. Judgment, tax liens, what else? Eviction, which would also be considered as a broken lease. Property damage charges, any balances remaining from a property. And also, it can be timeshares. Like a lot of times people go out and about and they vacation and they're offered these great deals. And if you do not adhere to those terms, they can show up on your credit report as if it was an eviction. Okay, so collections. And Iris spoke a little bit about collections, about contacting the medical providers and seeing if you can set up arrangements as little as $20. That is absolutely true, and that's absolutely fine. You all bear with us. This is our first workshop and many more to come, and we're going to be in alignment completely. We are aligned because we want to make sure any one of our clients that we have or anyone that will be partnering with me or with her, if you all are a mutual client, that we're in alignment with what the game plan is. So when it comes to those collections, I have my different take when it comes to certain things. I'm not in the business of discouraging anyone, disclaimer, from taking care of debt that we know that belonged to you. You absolutely had done the services rendered or whatnot. But you want to stop it, of course, from getting to the point that it's going to collections, and that's what Iris was talking about when she said contact them, try to make payment arrangements, because if you do that, it's not going to make it as far to being with the third party. Now, my truth is that all credit collection agencies are liars.
True.
They're the enemy, they're the adversary. There's no truth in anything that they say, especially when it comes to medical debt. You do have HIPAA laws that are in place to protect us, and it's important for us to be informed consumers. So let's give it up for our amazing pastors, like Pastor Fred, Lady Jamila Gooden, and Assistant Pastor Deloria Michelle Minor. The fact that they want us to be better, and they want us to not perish, but be enlightened by information. So that's why we're here. And we are here to be better stewards, good stewards over our finances, and to make sure that we're informed consumers. Because credit is a game. It's a game. And you gotta know how to play the game. You have to know how to maneuver. It's your name, credibility. You are credit. So with the collections, my take on it is that because they're liars, they don't adhere to the law, they break the laws all day, every day. A lot of them may even could pay you out money now for harassing and breaking the laws by calling you, all the harassment. There's so many laws, and that's what we also, I don't specialize in law or whatever, but I know where to point you so you can sue them. Right. And our clients, they win. They can pay you up to $1,000. So back to what I'm saying as far as them being liars, you never want to be cornered. You never want to be harassed to the point that you feel that, hey, I'm just going to pay it off or whatever like that. You have the HIPAA laws that are in place to protect you. That's why we have to be informed consumers. In order for them to verify any medical debt, any medical services, they would have to have access to your personal health information. That is your medical chart. That's breaking your HIPAA law rights. So a lot of times they don't want to be sued, so they're going to just let it go. So that's a lot of how we're able to get the medical collections off and things like that. But you always want to make sure that you're looking at this section, because a lot of times I hear you had insurance, or people may have had Medicare or Medicaid to assist with payments, or it was a copay or something like that. Employer insurance didn't go through. So make sure you're paying attention to this section, even when things have been removed. If it was a collection that was deleted and was sold to a new collection agency, be attentive, be alert to this section. So we'll dive more into that later, but I just wanted to bring those couple of pointers up when it comes to collections. Your credit accounts. So that's going to be anything that you have sectioned off from loans, personal loans, home loans, student loans, credit cards. Now, credit cards are going to be considered revolving credit. Loans, any type of other loan is not revolving credit. Only credit cards, store cards, major line credit cards are considered revolving credit. And requested credit files, so that would be your hard inquiry section. Does anyone know how long hard inquiries stay on your credit report, or should stay? 2 years. That is correct. And what about credit accounts outside of public records? 7 years. And what about public records? 10 years. All right. So we also, we forgot to mention repossessions, charged off vehicles. Yeah, so we categorize those in with the public records, because it can be a bit, just as it is with evictions a lot of times when we're working on those. But as I mentioned before, we'll be talking more about that.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Okay, you mentioned something about your addresses, your old addresses needed to be updated, deleted, or something. And I'm asking because I have a collection company that's calling me that's using an old address, but it's not my account. And every time they call me and I tell them I sold that property like 15, 20 years ago, they just say, well, every time we call, you keep saying that. I do, but y'all call me every couple of months. So is that, because you said algorithm, is that because of the address that's linked to that? I'm asking.
So you're saying, so the question was, or what you're stating is that there's a collection agency for a medical debt, or debt just in general, that keeps calling you. You're stating that's not your address.
No, I lived
You
in that
used to
address
live there.
like 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I don't live, but they just started calling me here, like in the last 6 months. And I told them I don't live at that property.
Okay, so you're saying it is your debt, but it doesn't belong to you?
No, they pulled it from the old address.
So
when I
who are
lived
they asking for?
They're asking me to pay a bill that was at that address.
Are they asking for someone else?
No, they put my name on it, but I wasn't living there. They're saying this happened like 5 years ago, and I wasn't living there 5 years ago.
Okay, so that's the first problem right there. Statutes of limitations
Okay.
have expired if it was 5 years ago concerning, so we can talk more about that.
Oh, no,
But yeah, no, that's a good question, and I'm glad you asked that, because you should never validate or verify debt over the phone. Everything should be in writing. You have to have a paper trail. Documentation is going to win every time. So what I'm going to help you do is contact, do you know the name of the company or have a telephone number for them?
I could probably find it.
Okay.
But I was just trying to link what you said about the old address
Yeah.
to the collection and the algorithm. Is that what they're using to find me? Because I lived at that property.
So are they sending new notices to your new address?
My mail just started coming here, so I honestly don't know. I have to go and look.
But what you're saying is that
I
they're
never
just,
heard about it until I moved to Charlotte.
okay, they're just calling, verifying that that is your old address.
No, they're calling and saying I owe, like they're saying, you owe this bill. I think it's something DirecTV.
Right, I understand what you're saying, but they're just saying from that old resident address.
Right.
Yeah. So it's kind of different from what I was talking about with the addresses.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, the way they're able to identify, you were there, of course, because it was on your personal information section.
Thank you.
No problem. I'm going to help you out with that. Yes, I'm going to.
So I have 2 questions, kind of bringing back to that. So when I was really young.
I'm sorry. I'm going to walk to you so they can also hear your.
So my question is, I was really young, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people were, right? When I stayed with someone and I left, this was like 2010, but I was a leasee. That person that I was with at the time, I left, and my name was still on the lease, and apparently, I guess they left before the lease was up, and it's still on my credit, but I was like 20 years old, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, I didn't, the name was not really in I guess because my name was on the lease, I was also responsible, and it's from credit consultants or something like that. But I kind of just want to just pay it off, but I'm like investigating, like it's still on there. People always say, oh, it just takes 7 years, but I don't like my name in anything. Yeah, and it's like
10 years.
Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to get rid of that. But the thing is, another company bought out that apartment complex, so I can't get in touch with them. But when I was speaking to someone, because I am trying to move, they were advising me, ask them for that lease and other type of paperwork to see if they could produce it. If not, they need to let it go. They wouldn't do that. So I'm like, but why is it still on my credit? So I'm still just trying to learn that, but I document everything, paper trail. So also another thing is somebody recently called me from New Jersey. We all know about those, saying that I opened up a credit card. Well, I never use no credit card. I always believe if I can't afford it, then just don't do it. That's just me. So I never do credit cards. They get me, yes, you did. Everybody says that. So she had everything right, except for, of course, my social. And they say, you need to verify that. I'm not doing that. You call me, right? Verify your social and your... Right. Yeah. She's like, verify your social. But the crazy thing is, I told her to repeat it to me. She had my name, my school, everything. And I said, well, that's easy to find on the internet. Like, I used to do that when I was young, when I tried to stalk my ex. You know what I'm saying? Like, I did. You made me mad. But the last 2 or 3 of my social was incorrect and my date of birth. So I'm like, well, so I guess they gave up, and they was like, well, we're just going to say that the third party needs to take care of it because our lawyers wouldn't.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm just not going to, I don't do credit cards. So I'm just trying to figure out how I go about those 2 situations. The lease thing that I was just a leasee on when I left, and I guess they broke the lease, how that's still on there and how I can take care of it, because I don't want to deal with that person anymore. And if I just need to pay it, but I don't want it to continue to stay on my credit and show something negative, you know what I'm saying? And then the whole credit card situation, because I kept everything.
Okay, I follow you. Thank you so much for your question. So you have a 2-part, 2-part, not a problem. So first with the apartment. So it sounds like it was a joint agreement. So you were the co-signee, first signer, or however it went. So technically, it is your debt, part of your debt, and the other signer, it would also or should also be on their credit reports as well. It will stay on the credit if you don't do anything, your credit report, up to 10 years. But I heard you say something that was alarming about the apartment complex selling, and there's no documentation. So why is it on your credit report? So it's all about verbal positioning. And I'm sorry, it has been a cycle, it sounds like, for you attempting to get that off, but it's not what you say, but it's how you say it. Experience when it comes to rehabilitating your credit. So I can definitely speak with you one-on-one as far as what would need to be done. If you're working on it yourself, you can absolutely do that too. I encourage people, whatever you're doing, you can do it. Anything a credit coaching company or a credit rehabilitation company would be doing, you could do too. And then secondly, with the credit card debt, don't verify anything, like you said, over the phone. If they're trying to get in contact with you, they should have your address to be able to send something out.
One question, can you repeat what the 10 years, that entailed? Yeah, for the 10 years.
The 10-year,
As far as, is that for, like you said, 10 years for it to remain on her credit? Is that just for?
eviction, public records. So public records would be categorized as bankruptcy, any kind of bankruptcy, eviction, breaking a lease, property damage charges, any type of property-related charges, and tax liens, judgments. Repos can be categorized in there as well. Did we have any other questions? So 10 years. 10 years is the time frame.
Oh, I was saying, it's not really a question, it's more so. For the 10-year, the judgment, does that
I'm
include
sorry. Did that help you? Okay.
the student loans? Does that include that under judgment for 10 years, if it's in like default or anything like that?
Default student loans are different. That's just a regular account. It is a loan. I forgot to mention foreclosure. So public records. So you have property where there is eviction, broken lease, foreclosure, tax lien judgment, vehicle, those type of things. So student loan defaults, that's just like a charge off. So there is a process for that. You have to rehabilitate those student loans to get them in good standing. You will not be able to purchase a home if you have student loan default debt that have been funded by the government. You have to make those right. You wanna? No. It's okay.
So what if the institution actually is no longer existing? So I know someone that went to an institution, got a degree. The degree is not creditable anymore because the institution is no longer existing. So the student loans is still there, but how can the student loans still exist if the college no longer exists?
There's a way to have those removed, to have those forgiven. That's a great question. To have those removed off of your credit reports, there is a way.
Okay.
But you have to get the paperwork together, of course, and be able to prove, Google, to show that the institution is no longer existing, and go from there. So this is just the introduction. We're going to get more and more into it, but I want you all to ask any questions or concerns that you all may have. Mr. Brown, you want to ask something? Okay. Okay, anyone else? Can I leave this back here? This lady right here. Thank you.
This is just piggybacking off of what you said about the judgments and the criteria you had, like for inquiries, say on your credit report for 2 years, and then I think you said 5 years for what was accounts? Something was 5 years.
Credit accounts, so
Okay.
that would be charged off credit card debts, those type of things.
Okay, and then you said 10 years was for the judgments, foreclosures, tax liens, vehicles, and things like that. Now, I don't know if this is true, but I was told that if you inquire in that time, say like, okay, the 10 years, you've already done 6 years, it's been on your credit report, so you got 4 more years to go. But if you contact them and say something to them, it starts over again? I was told that it will, if you inquire in that or they bring up something, that starts. Is that true? Have you heard anything about that, where it will start your clock again over?
What I think you're saying is, and you tell me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
But it sounds like there's a charged off account that has been closed. Someone contacted the lender or the creditor to begin making payments or to have some type of activity where a payment was.
Right,
Yeah,
not a,
so
not
it
a payment.
does.
Right, the
It
activity.
restarts the clock.
Right.
It restarts the clock. Once you make a payment on a closed out account, it restarts the clock. So the damage has already been done. You all have to stop wasting your money. Like, once again, we said, we know what it's like to have life happen. We know what it's like to not be a good financial steward. That's the past. This is the present. So once at that time it has been charged off, that's it. Mm-hmm. There's no coming back from that. They're not your friend. They're not going to reopen the account. They're not going to work with you, besides taking your money, working with you in that manner. So the damage has been done. It's pointless to pay off the debt. And a lot of realtors or brokers may get mad at me for saying this. And sometimes I irk them, but I'm going to tell you the truth. It's a waste of your money. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are in the home buying steps or preparing for the prophetic word that Pastor Jamila released about the market switching from sellers to buyers market. And I was just watching the news this morning where they were talking about how it is a seller's market, how all the hedge funds buyers are buying up all the property. A lot of brokers are going to tell you to pay this off, and it could be thousands of dollars that could be used in your down payment on your house. So the damage has been done. Do not pay off that charged off credit card. Do not pay that old vehicle off. Do not pay that closed out loan. The damage has been done. Let it go. Mm-hmm. Once you make as little as a $5, $50 payment, it's going to restart that 5-year clock.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, she's coming. Are you Nicole? Yeah. Hey, Nicole.
Shan. I think kind of what she was saying, too, is without even making the payment, because I just heard this actually not too long ago, just the inquiry about it starts the clock all over again. Is that what it was as well?
No.
Yeah, I heard the same thing as well. Like, even if you don't make a payment to them and you just call to inquire because they called you and maybe you called them back and you said something concerning the credit, they're saying it's going to start the ball rolling all over again.
No, the only way
is
that
if you make a payment.
The only way you can start activity is by making a payment.
Okay.
And good standing accounts should stay on your credit up to 10 years, but sometimes they'll let it stay up there longer.
Right. And I will tell you what you said about medical is true, because I do medical billing. Without your medical records, they can't do anything. They can make threats and they say they can do it, but without,
they're not doing
because
nothing.
of HIPAA compliances, in fact, they can't do anything without the medical records, and they can't get the medical records released to them because of HIPAA compliance.
Look, I'm glad I didn't say your last name.
In regards to what you said about remarks, that's not considered activity?
So, no, payment would be activity. Now, the remarks may affect your credit score. So it may change your score, but not last activity. Last activity is payment. Okay. How does that sit with everyone? Any other questions or concerns? We could do this. She's coming with the mic.
I had to explain to a borrower yesterday that her credit scores are reported differently for all 3 agencies, and she was upset because they weren't using her top score. But I had to explain, when you're running a loan through the system, it's the middle score. So just some people didn't know that.
Okay, so let's go there real quick, because we're possessing property, we're possessing land here within these ministries, Unity Charlotte International and the Car Chronicles movement. We're buying houses, we're buying lands and commercial buildings and all. So whenever you're in real estate and you are in that process, and we do have a realtor, we have 2 realtors in here today in the house. Could y'all please stand up? Okay, we have LaTanya Cunningham, and then we have Colleen Ryan. On Facebook, we know you as Exoneration Angel. Okay. Yeah, so these are 2 amazing ladies that I work with personally, and they are knowledgeable, full of knowledge. They know their stuff. So whenever you purchase a home, you have 3 major credit bureaus that have credit scores. So there are 3 scores from the least to the greatest. What's in the middle is what is used for mortgage lending. So they're not going to go with your highest score. They're going to take that median number, and they're going to use that based upon all 3. Okay? So I do have information. I think what time are we at? Okay. All right. Is everybody okay? Are you all okay with us going over a few more minutes since we took a break? Is that all right? Okay. So what we will talk about from here. Okay, so we already gave the annualcreditreport.com website. That's the next slide. And I'm just going to show the next slides really quick because it sounds like you all have more questions or concerns that you all would like to ask. Who's going to purchase a house soon, become a home buyer? Could you raise them high? Yay. Yes, yes, yes. So we'll spend a little bit more time talking about that before we go. So what you all are seeing is a FICO score model. Regardless, the score scale model is the same as far as what makes up the credit scores. Payment history is the biggest. That's 35% of the makeup of your credit score. And payment history can hurt a lot. One single missed payment can hurt a whole lot, and it can take a while to bounce back, to recover from that. It can take up to 3 years to recover, depending upon the state of your credit. A single late payment can take up to 3 years to recover from if you're not careful. The next biggest makeup is 30%, which is amounts owed. That is credit utilization. And we said earlier that credit utilization would consist of credit cards, revolving credit. So I know Iris, and don't push me out the chair. You said one credit card, but this is why we're here again, to make sure that we are good stewards, that we're mindful, because it takes more than one credit card, realistically. You're not going to have any credibility just with a single credit card. So although that is the recommendation that she gave, and I respect that, but when we work together and when we coach and we teach, and we're all going to be disciplined and responsible in the name of Jesus, you know, with a made-up mind, faith and works go hand in hand. So we're going to be responsible and we're going to be accountable. And we're here to make sure that you're going to be accountable. We're going to be your accountability partners, as well as you all could team up with someone and also have an additional accountability partner. But it takes more than one credit card. If you just have one credit card, you have no credit history. You have no credit. If you don't have a credit card at all, you have no credit. You're going to get denied when it comes to a lot of things. Why? Because of no credit history. And you could have purchased a vehicle. You may even be a homeowner, but you still don't have any credit history until you have revolving credit, which is credit cards. So we teach you how to maneuver, how to use those credit cards. A lot of people have been scared and stay away from those. There's nothing to be afraid of. You only charge what you can pay for. As simple as that. If you got a debit card, you got a credit card. Use your credit card, use your debit card to pay that bill and get the credibility, get the buying power with those lenders. Okay? The next makeup, even though they have 10% new credit, I'm going to hop over to 15% length of credit history. That is sum of all your credit accounts that you've ever had that are open and that are even closed. That makes up a percentage of that. So 10% is going to be new credit. So when you get new accounts, and when you get new accounts, of course, that changes your length of credit history. So a lot of us may have had accounts for years and years, but because things have been recently opened over time, you may only have a length of credit history of, let's say, 4 years, but you've had credit for like 20 years. So, and credit mix can come with all those accounts together, since again, everything is algorithm. So that credit mix is everything, the type of accounts. And this is again why you have to have some revolving credit cards, because if you don't have credit cards in the equation, you don't have a credit mix. And that's the reason for the denial. Okay, so credit score breakdown, 35% paying your bills on time. You should be paying your bills on time all the time. So when a late reporting occurs, it's because you have, at that point, missed 2 billing cycles. It takes 2 billing cycles before a 30-day single late payment is reported to the credit bureaus from the lender. So for example, if you have a bill that is due the 15th of every month, let's say you missed the payment September 15th. It is now October 16th, so you had a bill due yesterday. There is a billing cycle. Some companies, it can range 3 to 5 days. You have to communicate with each company if you want to get an idea, but just to keep it simple, I say 3 to 5 days. That closing billing cycle is when they are getting together the balance that you have, the running balance on the account, and based upon the payment that you made, so if you made your minimum payment or if you paid it all off, they're going to take all of that information and transfer it over electronically to the credit bureaus. Okay? So if you missed September 15th and October 15th, that means at that point you have your first, you would have, not saying you all because y'all aren't, I ain't talking to y'all, but whoever else, they would have a late reporting single late payment before the end of the month is up. It's going to hit their credit report.
I had to go out and get a credit card in order for almost the bank to approve me for the loan.
That's right.
So during the process, before I even knew about credit, like you said, most cards are like at the beginning or no later than like the 15th of the month. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm thinking that I was paying this, it's a store card like Kohl's. I was paying the card on time, but I was paying it actually on that date. Well, it took me like 4 years to really figure out that if you pay it on that date, it's still late because it doesn't process until like 2 days later. So the late payments, that is now like almost 7 years.
So say that part again about the report. I didn't understand that part that you said about.
Okay, so with the payment was due on the 15th.
Right.
And it's still due on the 15th
right.
of every month. But since I was paying it on the 15th, thinking that I was paying it on time. Well, for like 5 months, it was reporting late.
That was an issue with your bank. It sounds like you had automatic payments set up with your bank, within your bank.
Right. So what I should have done was paid it like on the 14th, had it drafted out on the 14th, so that within the 24 hours, it could have hit on the 15th and
right.
been paid on time.
That's right.
So when I was paying it on the 15th, it was late because it didn't hit the other account until the 16th. So those late payments in my history is still there, like 5 missed payments.
Oh, no.
It says, and it's like, how can that? Can I get that off? Because
absolutely, there's a will, there's a way. Praise the Lord.
So that's like really, hurtful because you're looking at it and you're like, I'm not late, and then when you look at your report and see all these green circles. Versus
if you can speak into the mic,
and you see all the green circles, and then you look like 7 years ago and you see 5 yellow circles, you like, oh man, and it says that like your credit history 5 miss,
right.
5 miss or 5 late.
Yeah.
I just want that off. If I can get that off my history,
I'm sure there's inconsistency. That's what I'm all about.
So,
Yeah, we find them in their inconsistency. So if you were late, like they say you were late, I mean, we know you were late, but, you know.
right.
These computer systems aren't always as smart as they should be. So in the event there's a discrepancy, what was sent to TransUnion versus Equifax versus Experian, you would look at all three of those credit reports and compare and contrast. And when you see the misreporting as far as they may have 4 over here, 3 over here, or 5, or even if they have 5, make sure that the months are the same, consistent with all 3 credit bureaus. So I'll be happy to help you with that. But yeah, that's a good question, and I'm glad you asked that question, because a lot of us, I never have, because I used to deal with senior citizens that would have their health insurance canceled because of setting up those payments within their bank for automatic payments. So I would recommend not setting up automatic payments within your bank's website. If you're going to set up automatic bank withdrawals, do it from the company, the creditor, the lender, the place in which you're paying the bill. So you would include your routing number, your account number within their website if you're going to do it that way. Because otherwise it is going to take, and it's going to take time with them too, but it takes extra time within your bank.
Last year I had gotten a car payment deferment. How does that affect your credit?
Could you ask that again?
Last year during the pandemic, I got a hardship car payment deferment. How does that affect your credit? Does it affect your credit?
You said during the pandemic, hardship
I got
deferment?
a hardship car payment
So
deferment.
payments were deferred.
Yes, for like 3 months.
Okay.
So does that affect your credit?
No.
Okay.
It does put the payments back on the end of the loan.
Right.
But yeah. No,
Right.
that shouldn't have any late reporting as long as you called ahead of time
Right. No,
and
I
set
did.
up those arrangements.
Okay. Because I asked them and they didn't know. They couldn't provide that information to me. So
I think they also report you as current. Because each month of the deferment, they have to say that you're current because they agreed.
okay.
That is
okay,
absolutely correct. Still going to be paid on time with your reporting.
I really don't need a mic. I talk loud enough. Does the 15...
We have people online that would.
Sorry. Does the 15-3 rule, is that a true thing?
Could you?
Because
a lot of people may not know what you're.
If you pay your bills, if you have a credit card bill and it's due on the 20th, and you pay it on the you pay it on the 3rd of the month, and then you pay it, which is 15 days before it's due, and then you make another payment 3 days before it's due, that you're kind of, I guess, tricking the bank or the lender, making them think that you're making 2 payments on that one debt.
So I'm different when it comes to a lot of what the usual rules would be. And the reason why I say that is you can, but it's not, you really don't have to do all of that. It's just about what you pay when that payment is due. Credit book again. Okay, we're going to go online to some questions in a couple of minutes. But no, I want to answer your question and the lady right there in the white shirt. So it doesn't matter. You don't have to pay twice in order to have some type of effect that's going to boost your credit score up. It's all about the amount that you pay when your bill is due. So it doesn't matter. I could swipe my card. I have the money to pay for whatever I'm swiping. But if my bill is due on the 15th, because it helps, let's say you're someone that it helps you be more disciplined. When you have extra money, go ahead and pay it. Absolutely do that. but you don't have to. As long as when that payment is due on the 15th, you make that extra amount or whatever pay off the credit that you've swiped, that you've charged, it's going to have the same effect once it transmits over to the credit bureaus. So we are all about sharing with our clients and those that we work with for general information, because everyone is welcome to call and ask questions. But you want to pay the card all the way down or stay between 7 and 10%. Now, sometimes life happens and you may not be able to do that, but that's why we're here again for budgeting, because everyone should have an emergency fund. We should have some funds tucked away. And that's another thing that we're all going to be working on, saving $1,000. So, try to pay it down to 7 to 10%. And if you have bills that you're already paying, like your internet, whatever bills that you pay, like phone bill and stuff like that, you could set those up to be paid with those credit cards, but make sure that same money that you would pay your bills with, that is going to that credit card company. Does that help? All right. We're going to take one more question in-house, and then we're going to go to some questions that's online.
Good evening. The question that I wanted to ask was, when me and my husband was trying to buy a house last year, a lender told us to go out and get a credit card. So we went out and applied for the card, and we got denied. Every time that we applied for a new card, we get denied, and our credit score kept going down and down. What do we do?
That's a lot of experience for people. When you have poor to bad credit, having no credit is having poor to bad credit. It may be that you don't even have negative items on your credit report, but if you've never had a credit card, you have bad credit, because you're not going to be able to go but so far. You will not see the 800 club with no credit card. You will not see the high 700s with no credit card. In general, you're probably going to see fair credit, which is around a 640 range, 620. I'll say lower than that, 620 range with no credit card. So there are steps to building credit. You have to move at a pace that's not too fast and not too slow. So you have to be knowledgeable as far as companies that's willing to give first-timers a chance that have no credit history, and people that have had mistakes in the past or life happen that's willing to give people another chance. So I will give this nugget, like we're family. So I'm going to give you all a nugget. You did mention about the hard inquiry. So every time you do a credit application, a hard inquiry is going to hit your credit report, and it's going to pull your credit score down. You may see anywhere from a couple of 2 to 4 points and on up when it comes to hard inquiries. What I would like for you to do, and I would like to speak with you and your husband privately, personally after this, because I'm going to sow. We're going to sow it. The church is going to sow helping you. Okay. We're going to sow.
Thank you.
But for those online, I would suggest going to Finger Hut. Finger Hut is something old school. People sleep on Finger Hut. They really sleep on Finger Hut. My grandmother, my great-grandma Agnes, she was all on Finger Hut ordering stuff. They were sending those catalogs out since I don't know when. But Finger Hut is something that's still around, and it's something that is used oftentimes. I will use that. And if you all hear it somewhere else, even though other companies may use it, but they're not doing it the way that we're doing it. This is a way that we gauge to see what your credit worthiness is. And Cheryl's nodding her head because she knows personally. So this lets me know personally where you are credit worthiness. So if you're online or in person, I do, if you're an existing client, don't you go do that, because we got you on a plan. All right, all y'all in here that's a current client, don't go do it. Don't go do it if you want told to do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. But your time will come with that assignment if you're a current client, because that means I have something else I need you to do first. But just to start, I would like everyone to visit fingerhut.com. If you could type that in there for me, fingerhut.com. Fingerhut.com and apply for credit. That'll come later. Referral link. No problem. I'm sorry. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely do it. And the reason why is some of you are probably carrying a credit card balance, and this could help lower your credit utilization by getting this new line of credit. But I would, everyone is welcome to inbox me directly, Shan Kelton on Facebook. Once you complete the credit assignment of visiting fingerhut.com and just take a screenshot of your approval. There's going to be 3 things that happens. God forbid you're denied. If you're denied, we really got to get busy because you're in bad shape if you are not approved for Fingerhut. And it's nothing to be ashamed of because, you know, we deal with people all day, every day that can't even get Fingerhut. And that's fine. And a lot of times I don't have to have you do that in order to be able to tell you to do that. But a lot of people want to work on their credit themselves. So, you know, I'll give that. Go to fingerhut.com. You can send a screenshot of the outcome, whether it is denied, whether it is approved. If you are approved, there's going to be 2 outcomes. It's either going to be for a advantage. The advantage is what we love to see because that means that you have a credit line that is going to be given, and you don't have to place a first-time order. The second approval option will be the Fresh Start program. So the Fresh Start means, you know, they see that you've had some problems or no credit in the past, but they're still willing to give you a first-time chance or another chance as a lender. In the event you are approved for the Fresh Start, you will have to place a first-time order, minimum payment of $50. And I'll help you with that, how to do it, because it's only a $30 down payment. This is why it's important to inbox me so you can follow through, and you could see your credit scores go up close to 100 points just with that. Okay, so I said that we would take one more, but I'll get you, and then we're going to transition online to answer some questions.
Okay, so my question is kind of, I don't even know if it's a question. So growing up, my father didn't believe in banks. So basically, all the money that he made from like GM, my mom was a nurse, my dad never put money in the bank. So basically, when I got my car, my very first car, my dad just paid cash for it. So I didn't get a bank account until I moved to Charlotte 4 years ago because my dad always taught me that. Nope, don't congratulate me yet. But thank you, sis. But as a result, I didn't really learn growing up about credit and stuff. So now that I'm 48 and I want to buy a house and I want to do different stuff, it's like I can't because I don't have, they say I don't have good credit, bad credit. I kind of just don't have. Right. And I just purchased a car and I do have a credit card. I just got a credit card, but my credit score is like, honestly, y'all, yes. And not to mention, I really don't know how to save money because I still kind of had that mattress mentality, but then what do you do when you deplete the mattress?
That's why we're here, and that's what we're going to teach. We're going to save $1,000. We're going to even take some trips. Pastor wanted us to go to Charles Schwab. We're going to take some trips to a bank that would be available for us to go and do those group goals, you know. So that's why we're here, and this is just an introduction. We will be meeting here again next month, and this will be a part 2 to this introduction because there's still a lot that we have to cover. We have a long way to go, y'all, but we are committed, and as long as you all are committed, we're going to do this. So we have questions online.
One was the One of the questions was the Experian booster function. Is that really good to improve your credit?
Experian Booster, that is something that's available, but with all these hackers, these hacks that have been going on, and what a lot of people don't know, and I don't know if I should say this or not. Somebody said say it. But the credit bureaus, and we on Facebook? Okay, the credit bureaus own a lot of outlets, a lot of the banks that you use to get these store credit cards. So it's information that is being cycled and things are being hacked. So what my thing with Experian Boost, it is something that could be used, but I don't recommend it. You're giving your access to your bank when it comes to that. So it's your preference, but I don't recommend it to our clients. We use other ways to be able to do that. And it's just going to report to Experian.
Right. It's not going to the other bureaus.
All the other two credit bureaus.
Okay. Someone said they bought a house. Their credit limit was $700, and then it dropped tremendously after buying the house. Why?
Okay. So it's kind of hard to say exactly why that happened, but just with buying a house, that is increasing your debt to income ratio. So that has a lot to do with it, along with it being a new account that goes back to the 10%. The credit mix is changing, and also the 15% of the makeup of your credit overall score, your length of credit history. So there's some things happening there, likely, most definitely in those three categories that I just mentioned. It's a new account, and it's hard to say. I would have to look at it and know what her standing is, how many credit cards she has, what those balances are, and all of that to be able to really expound on the question.
One lady said she has a small business, and how does she increase her business credit?
Okay, so we will be touching on business credit as well as we go further along. So there is a way to get a free DUNS number with Dun & Bradstreet. So you can visit Dun & Bradstreet's website to get a free DUNS number. Business credit is completely different. It's a whole nother ball game. It's very different from personal credit. You can work on your business credit and have bad personal credit, or work on both of them at the same time. But your business is not established nor official until you have a business checking account. So in order to be able to step over in that business world, we would have to get you a business banking account in order to do that, to start in that industry as it relates to business credit.
Okay. My next question, is a secured credit card good to improve your credit?
It depends. So we're always going to be mindful about how we recommend for anyone to invest their money. Credit is an investment. It takes money to work on your credit. So what we would recommend a lot of times is other things, like I suggested Fingerhut. Fingerhut, in worst case scenario, hopefully you're not denied, but you would get somewhat of that $50 requirement as opposed to having to pay a $200 to $500 secured deposit on a credit card. So a lot of times I do not suggest for people to just go to their bank or go to Capital One and Capital One's website and apply for a secured credit card. We would start steps out. Cheryl, she ready for me to give y'all all the tea, all the good hot tea. She ready, and I'm excited about it. But there are two things that we could do. There are 2 to 6 things that we could do that would cost less than $200, and it would take you further than what a $200 to $500 secured card would do. In the event that is an option, if we talked about secured cards, it wouldn't be a fully secured, it would be a partial secured card, meaning that we would go with a company recommendation that requires a program fee of $75 or $95 and go from there. So there'll be more information to come about that.
Now, this is kind of, I think, difficult, but you,
Okay.
Cheryl.
Let's go.
Okay, so she said, I have a card through a bank that I co-signed for my daughter that is an interest only, and she's been paying for 6 years.
Oh, God.
And she still owes over $12,000.
Woo.
The bank was sued Santander
That's robbery.
by all states except my state that I'm in. What should I do?
Oh, my. This is a conversation that I have a lot with a lot of people. A lot of times, you have to do what you have to do at that time. You know what you know. You don't know what you don't know. And people get into these high-end car loans that have you out there. Even when you try to trade it in, you're still out there with the amount owed and no one wants the car. So I'm not promoting or encouraging repossession, voluntary or involuntary, but it's just some things we have to decide to let go sometimes. You got to let go. One Wednesday night, Pastor Jamila and I, we were both transparent about having a repo in the past. She shared how she told them to just come get a vehicle. My situation was different. I had life happen, and they wouldn't wait. They wouldn't work with me, Ally Financial. So Ally Financial and Santander, I usually help people a whole lot with them because they have those high-end car loans. And sometimes you just got to call them and say, come pick this car up and just deal with it and fix your credit. Don't wait 7 to 10 years for the things to sit up there. Just work on your credit. There is life after a repo, a repossession. There's life after eviction and all. So I would just suggest they have to think about maybe letting go, cutting ties with that, because no one's going to really want it for her to get out of it.
Right.
Did I answer that?
I think you did.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody's saying they hate Santander.
Yeah, they have lawsuits. If you all got a repo, repossession on your credit report for Santander, that thing can be removed. They have a lot of lawsuits, a lot of class action lawsuits right now.
Shan, I just wanted to say I had a repossession. Let me think. I've been here 2 years. So probably 4 or 5 years ago, I called Chrysler Cow, said, well, just come and get it. Right? There's just nothing I can do for that. So they tried to sue me for the balance, which was like $11,500 at the time. And by law, they can't do that because they turned around and sold the vehicle. So I had to fill out the appeal, and it got knocked down to $4,200. So if it does happen, you can appeal it, because whatever they sold the vehicle, they got to subtract that from what you owe. So it went from over $11,000 down to $42,000, which I still owe. I'll pay it, but it's just.
You said you'll pay it.
No, I won't. Nope.
Oh, no. I thought you said you.
No. I'm saying it went down. I would, but they had to knock the balance down because it looked like I owed more than I did. So if they sell the vehicle that they take from you, you don't owe that whole thing.
No, you don't. You don't. Okay. I thought you almost you almost took me out. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit in business. Pastor Jamila says business will be our third class. So business, if you have a business or want to start a business or whatever, everybody needs a hustle. Everybody needs a business for more than just multiple streams of income, and also for tax purposes. Okay, so we're going to we talked about the credit utilization, how long you had it. So now we're going to talk about the inquiries. Inquiries are major. We didn't have any more questions online, right?
No, I didn't see most
Okay. So hard inquiries, we did discuss that they can stay on your credit report for up to 2 years. You all need to be paying attention to those credit reports because I just had like 20 hard inquiries come off of someone's credit reports, and I think close to 30 on another one. I can't recall exactly, but they were old hard inquiries that were still on the credit report for more than 2 years ago. So hard inquiries are going to happen when you do a credit application for a credit card, auto loan, home, personal, student loans, any type of loans. So they are hard inquiries. The businesses pay the credit bureaus in order to buy your information to see your credit worthiness. So that is what a hard inquiry is. In order to have a hard inquiry on your credit report, you have to consent. So there has to be a written consent, whether you click the button or you type your name on an online application online, or if you're in person, your signature. And we're going to get more into holistic documentation because even when it comes to validating and verification, there's two different meanings with those words, but they have to have the whole entire contract, not a part. They just can't send you the last page that shows your signature, even with the hard inquiry agreements. So we'll talk more about the documentation to make sure that these companies are also in compliance when they're putting hard inquiries, but you have to give consent. And a lot of you all don't know this. You just can't go to a car dealership and you know how they will run your credit up to 20 times? It is your right to tell them you only consent to 2. You only consent to 1. You only consent to 3. And you have the choice as the consumer to tell them, like they will tell you, like Chevrolet, they have their preferred lender. Most car lots have their preferred lenders, their top 2 to 3. Same thing with mortgage companies. They have their top not mortgage lenders, but realtors. They have their lenders, their preferred lenders that they'll use. As a consumer, it is your name, it is your credit, it is your good standing, so you don't let anyone misuse your name and have you in bad standing. If you did not consent to Chevrolet, for example, not saying Chevrolet did, but in the event you went and they ran your credit about 17 times, that is, when you challenge that, it's going to show on your credit, it's going to put an identity theft statement. And technically, it is a form because you did not consent to have your credit ran all that many times. So the game, it has to change now. They're no longer going to get over with us not knowing, being educated about what they can and what they cannot do. So if you have went to apply for any type of loan, for a car loan or a home loan or whatever, and you did not consent to having your credit ran all those many times, that needs to be challenged because that is a form of identity theft. Soft inquiries. With soft inquiries, they would be soft pulls that do not show up under the hard inquiry section on your credit report. So that would be for employment, for car insurance, like if you're calling Geico, State Farm, whoever it may be, they're going to do a soft pull to see what your credit worthiness is. Okay.
Did that still include student loans as well with those hard inquiries?
Yes, ma'am.
So like Navient or Navient, whatever. Like I'm irritated with them. Like it's been 2012. Like I don't like, and it's still on there. It's still recurring. You know, even if they've been deferred or from the pandemic, and I don't know.
Are you speaking of the credit hard inquiry from when you applied for school, or are you speaking of the account?
The account. I'm sorry. Okay, I misunderstood. Because I thought you said any type of loan. So I misunderstood what you were trying to say. I'm sorry.
So what I was saying was hard inquiries are going to show underneath the hard inquiry section anytime you apply for any funds as a loan. So student loans do fit those categories. What you're saying that you owe a balance to Navient, and you just want them. Everybody wants student loans to go away. Hopefully President Biden will, help us with that, most definitely. A lot of people aren't aware if you are considered permanently disabled and have student loan debt, you can get those permanently discharged, as well as being a government worker, doing things such as teaching, all of that, even being a veteran, fully disabled, considered disabled with the military. What happened? Yeah, you can get your student loan debt discharged.
So also, what about, I got excited, I'm sorry. I don't know, so like if you, so like going to rent an apartment or something like that as well, like how would you know if they've rented one, you just look on your credit report if they rented more than once? Like sometimes they'll be like, let me run it again to see if I can get you approved again.
Okay, so if you don't know, like I know a lot of people say don't use Credit Karma, doesn't give you great credit score, but I'm gonna tell you, they tell you, bing, 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 immediately. You don't have to wait to pull your credit, right? So you know exactly. You sitting in that office, sir. You only said one time. You have now made 3 inquiries on my credit. So to me, I don't look at Credit Karma to look at my credit score, but I do look to get notifications and new credit. They'll tell you in a minute, hey, is this you? This is a new credit on your report. So those monitoring services can help.
We're going to put up the links for the credit monitoring services. They're our last 2 slides. We're going to move. Is there another question? You got a question, Chrisia? You got a question? Yeah. Okay. So we're going to go to the next slide. I'm sorry, can you go to the credit score ranges real quick? We're going to take a look at that. You all can take a snapshot of that, or you can Google it. Credit score ranges, so anything below 580 is considered poor and general. Fair credit, 580 to 669. Good credit, 670 to 739. Very good, 740 to 799. And then you're exceptional once you cross over to the 800 club. And okay. Yes, and there's actually a question online that I saw. The question was, is it better to have cards or paper money? You need both. You need both. You just can't have good credit and say you're going to buy a house with no money. You need money and you need good credit. You need both.
And also, I think when I was going through my home buying process, they look and see how long the money's been sitting there. So you can't just get money from, your mom, pop, somebody here, put this in my accounts, and I'm going to get this house. You're going to have to have money to sit there, to be seasoned.
Okay, another question I see really quick is, can you tell them how many hard inquiries they can do when getting a home loan? So this is where it comes in at. And there was something done a couple of years ago where the Federal Trade Commission and the Consumer Financial Bureau, they were trying to buckle down on hard inquiries. So you all may have heard, like if you go to different places one day and apply for, is it raining? Oh, wow. And you have all these different hard inquiries, that it would just count as one. No, you gotta. So they can pull your credit as many times. That's why you want to take ownership and make sure you stay on them. Like, I only give you permission to run my credit with Bank of America or, Rocket Mortgage or whoever it is that you want to deal with. Let me see. Someone said, can you please repeat the cancellation of student loans? So there is a website, studentaid.gov, studentaid.gov. That is a government website where you can go visit to see what those requirements are for the discharge of student loan debt for government workers, like if you work for a fire department, teacher, even being permanently disabled as a citizen of the United States, or even as a veteran of the military. So there's different sites for that. And if you want to inbox me, anyone can inbox, and I'll be happy to help you with that. Okay, Iris, you're going to look for more questions. I'm going to...
Did you say something about a credit book?
A credit book. I'm not sure if I said something about a credit book, but I do have a book that we're going to read.
Okay, maybe that's what they're asking for.
Okay. Credit book. You all, we didn't talk about a credit book yet. Okay. Thank y'all for helping me out there. But we will be reading a book and doing all that good stuff too. So we're going to come over to the credit monitoring services. Thank you all for being so patient and so eager to hear about budgeting and credit. But we're coming to an end with this workshop. So we're going to put up the sites for our free credit monitoring services. We've already shared annualcreditreport.com, where you can go and get credit reports for all three major credit bureaus, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, at no charge. Again, a credit report does not include a credit score. So know when you go to annualcreditreport.com, you will not get your credit score. You will get information weekly. You can get it weekly due to the pandemic. And outside of pandemic times, you are entitled to one of those every year. And Equifax will also allow you to get 6 of those throughout the year through 2026. So Credit Karma, Iris did share about that, and I have it, I use it, even though we have a credit monitoring services that we use for existing clients. That's a requirement because we have to import credit reports and all of that. But I encourage everybody, even existing clients, to have Credit Karma. That is something that we always recommend. A lot of people say that Credit Karma does not have real scores. It's not that anything is fake about them. It's the score scale model that they use. So every bank, every company has a choice to choose which score scale model they want to use. Thank God for Credit Karma. They are free. They don't charge us anything. They do sponsor a lot for businesses, but this is a way that we're able to see the information and also get an idea of the score range. Now, the Vantage Score Scale 3.0 is going to be different from FICO. So this is a lot of times when people get hyped about their Credit Karma scores, like, oh, Credit Karma says I have a 777. And I went to apply for a mortgage, and they said that I had a 670. There may be a difference there. I can usually pretty much gauge it to know what it would be, but we do also use myfico.com. You're not going to see that link here because they'll come later. Myfico.com is recommended when people are ready to apply for a home mortgage because they're going to give you the credit card, different FICO model. They're going to give you the auto FICO model scale, and they're going to give you the home mortgage FICO model scale. So that'll come later, but these are the free sites, creditkarma.com for TransUnion and Equifax. Also, to get your Experian, because Credit Karma doesn't include Experian, you can visit freecreditscore.com. That is a website that is owned by Experian. They do not use the Vantage Score Scale model. They use the FICO Score 8 model. So you'll see the differences if you all want to take screenshots of that or want to get a printout of this slide. Just let me know. And this just lets you know what the differences are. Okay? So thank you all so very much for being so kind and participating and taking notes and wanting to be better. Give yourself a hand clap. And also online, we appreciate everyone that has spent time with us. I'm going to pass it over to Iris. We have a few gifts. And also on behalf of Apostle Fred D. Gooden III and Pastor Jamila Gooden and the whole Unity Charlotte International, we will be sewing 3 credit repairs. So if you're someone here, if you're a member that's here, a member, an active member, we know who the active members are. We will be sewing 3 of those. So I'm going to pass it over to Iris.
I tell you, I'm full today. I'm so happy. And Apostle Fred and Lady MJ are in tears. They're just so happy that our people want to be better and are striving to be better. So we have a couple of more gifts we want to give out. The first one will be, let's see, this bag. And that number is 3382. Congratulations. Congratulations.